Hello, hello. There we go. Hey, everyone. Hope you guys had a good weekend. For me, it's a long one. It's Thanksgiving in Canada. Although I think you guys have Columbus Day in the States, right? But I don't know if that's like a holiday, like if you guys get the day off on those days. Because GH was still on today. So I'm assuming not, but I don't know. Needless to say, I had a lovely outing with my family. Hey, Allison. Last night. So we all went for dinner because we didn't want to cook because it's a lot of work. Uh, and me personally, I'm not like a huge turkey guy. Um, Whereas like my grandmother is. My mom can take it or leave it. So my grandmother got like a turkey dinner from the restaurant that we went to, and my mom got some steak, and I just had a classic but huge. Oh, Columbus Day is not a thing anymore. Oh, okay. And I had like a huge burger with yam fries, and it was lovely. Thanks, Allison. But yeah, so yeah, thanks for letting me do this today. Because I always like I never Thanksgiving isn't as big of a thing here as it is in the States. So it's not like this big sort of celebration with parades and all this other stuff. It's really just like a day to just reflect and be thankful for what we got. Really, it's about the harvesting back in the day, but yeah, we've always just kind of utilized it for ourselves as like a day to just be grateful and thankful for what we have. And hey, Brooklyn, and have a nice dinner and just being with each other, you know. So yeah, that's what we did. And honestly, I was so tired yesterday. I went to bed early. So yeah, but here I am today. Welcome to the General Hospital After Show. I am your host, Dion Gabriel, and we're gonna keep it pretty chill. We'll talk about kind of the stuff from last week, and since GH did air today, we'll talk about a little bit about today as well. Oh yeah, this is true. Yeah, Christopher Columbus. I forgot about that. Forgot about that. But yeah, that makes sense. Thank goodness then. All right. So um, we'll kind of talk about the kind of like the major stuff that happened. Obviously, if you guys seen the thumbnails, our kind of two biggest topics are whether or not Michael framed Willow for for Drew shooting, um, and the will that gave Ronnie Monica's house. So those are our two main points. But just to discuss some of the other things that happened last week, we found out that Portia's pregnant. She felt a little dizzy with Elizabeth, and Elizabeth asked her if that was possible. And right away, Portia's with both Curtis and Isaiah around the same time. I think like a day apart. So she don't know who the baby daddy is. And Portia actually confided that to Elizabeth. She didn't mention Isaiah, but um, she did say that he might not possibly be the father. Although I think if Elizabeth sees how close that Portia and Isaiah has been, I don't think it's going to be a surprise to her, or maybe she'll figure it out on her own if she hasn't already. Um, but we don't get to really see um, if Elizabeth knows, because then Anna shows up with a warrant to search Elizabeth's house because Willow's obviously a suspect. And the PCPD discovered that one of Edward's prized possession guns is tied to Drew's shooting. So that's why they go in there. But we'll have to rewind that back and we'll discuss the rest later. For now, we'll kind of talk about some of the other minor stories, mostly just Nathan's. Um, I mean, the thing that we were kind of wondering in the last live stream is, does Nathan what is Nathan's deal? He's acting like he doesn't remember the last 7 years. He genuinely seems like he's a good person, but I don't, there's so much mystery surrounding it. But this week we see as he's about to check himself out of the hospital, him and Britt's private conversation. And hey, Sandy, and he really doesn't seem to remember the last 7 years of his life. And Britt's confused, like he didn't like reveal anything to her. He clearly doesn't know. So the only thing, and it's maybe Nathan is sinister, but if he was in the last 7 years, it has to be like another mind control bullshit crazy thing, which honestly is in Faison's wheelhouse. So it's, I guess the only question beyond that, if that is the case, is how did Nathan's body get taken to Faison, or to Faison's sort of enterprise? Allison, you think you're still unsure if it's Nathan? I don't know, because he still has like the scarring from the shot, like, and he clearly has all of his memories, like dating back to like when Anna hired him as the commissioner, as he kind of talked about today, and how Jordan became the commissioner, and then Anna's the commissioner again. Allison, you're saying probably mind control. I think so. Yeah, and obviously, whatever the plan was, clearly the plan was to send Nathan to Port Charles in the first place. But I don't think that they counted on him crashing and losing his memory of the last 7 years. So I don't know. Unless the mind control, he was like ordered to crash his car. But at the same time, how could they predict that Nathan would just not remember what happened in the last 7 years? I don't think he seems to be faking the memories. And I mean, the only tell for that, if that ends up being the case, is like similar to what happened when Anna was with fake Duke, planting false memories into him. But I don't know. Kaiwani said, do you think whoever is holding a blackmail on Britt somehow knew how to sneak them in there with no memory? Britt knows something. I mean, I think that Britt knows that, like, I think Britt knows what's happened to him the last 7 years, but I think she's confused as to why he suddenly doesn't remember anything of the last 7 years. So I think she herself is probably trying to figure out, like, is this a scam? Is this a scheme? And just kind of, like, trying to watch him very carefully, and she's still clearly trying to protect James, and trying to protect, I guess, even Nathan. Like, this is why I think it is actually Nathan, in the sense that she's trying to protect him from other people, but at the same time, like, so that's why I think at the very least this is probably Nathan's real body. How he is alive, who knows? We probably won't learn that for several months, because I think that before anything happens, they'll have to bring Maxie back first to get her back into the story. And we know that she's not going to be back till at least December, which isn't that far away, but it's a thing that's happening. So yeah, I'm intrigued to learn the lore of where Nathan has been in the last 7 years and how it came to be. Obviously, Britt faked her death, but I'm not convinced that Nathan faked his. I think he was probably brought back to life somehow, and maybe implanted with one of Faison's weird mind-controlling experiments or whatever. So, we'll see. We'll see. Edmund, you said GH has stumped you on figuring out Nathan? Yeah. I mean, I'm actually kind of relieved they don't seem to be going, he's actually evil and this isn't the real Nathan route that I think everyone was initially thinking. But yeah, I think there's some mind control going on. Kaiwan, I don't think he cares enough about Willow to get her out of jail. I certainly wouldn't. De Havilland, hey. Allison, yeah, you don't think he's faking anything either. Maybe Nathan is Helena. Yep, he is Nathan. She is Nathan in a Helena mask. Or no, the vice versa. Helena is Nathan in a Nathan mask. You know what I mean. I'm still tired. Forgive me. But yeah, and Nathan wants to get back to work at the PCBD, by the way. But Anna says, like, you weren't asleep for the last 7 years, so until we know where you've been and what you've been up to, we can't exactly hire you back. So we need to figure that out first, and then go from there. And I think the way that we might be able to figure out things before they let us fully in is if Nathan is determined to figure out what happened in the last 7 years as well. And then and I guess from that point, we'll see how Britt reacts to him trying to figure out the last 7 years of his life. Because he truly, genuinely seems like the Nathan we all know and remember. Like, there's no weird quirks about him. There's no tell that there's anything sinister going on with Nathan beyond the fact that he hasn't been around for 7 years. And it was right not to hire him back. Well, I think that anyone with common sense is going to be like, we don't know where you've been for 7 years. We need to figure out what that is for. Like, I think that's a good route to go. Like, we need to figure out what you were doing since you lost your memory of the last 7 years before we can actually hire you back. Don't feel comfortable with Nathan taking custody of James. Will he, though? I mean, he doesn't even have a house right now. And I think with James always living with Spinelli and Maxie at the house, and I think they're still at the house, and that really Mac and Felicia and Brooklyn and Lulu, they're all stepping in to take care of the kids. But I don't know. I don't think he's I don't think that he's going to go for custody of his kid right away, at least. And I think Maxie will wake up before they even get to that point as well. I think that Nathan also respects Spinelli enough and loves James enough that he's not going to take him out of a situation that he's comfortable in just to live with him. Because yes, he's missed 7 years of his life, but I think he'll want to spend time with him. But I don't think he's going to take him out of his home. And I think that he wants this transition to go smoothly for James as well. That, getting used to the fact that he has a father again, and the family that he knows and loves. Things are going to be shaken up because, technically speaking, I know Maxie and Spinelli aren't married, but since Nathan is alive, that means that Nathan's still married to Maxie, right? So we'll have to see what happens. What happened to Mac? I expected to see him on screen for this Nathan storyline. I don't know, but I mean, he's really not been around for much. And maybe that has to do with John's health. I don't know. Maybe he's just being a bit more discreet about it. Speaking of which, R.I.P. to Diana Keaton, because that was a shock this weekend. I know, not related to GH, but I was just shocked. Brooklyn, you said, hopefully Nathan does his own investigation on Nina and Willow's arrest. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in just a minute, I think. But before we do, I just want to get into Britt. Britt this week, away from Nathan. Jocelyn's back in town. And Britt, I think she's like, she kind of ends up just making it known to Jocelyn that, her cover is in her hands. Kind of like dangling the truth in front of Carly. I don't think that she intended on telling Carly right then and there, but I think she was just putting Jocelyn on notice. And then she tries to use her knowledge of, Jocelyn's current career to try and get her in a nice suite in the Metro Court, and she refuses to play nice, and then Jack steps in to put her on notice to cooperate, or he'll send her to Steinmauer, which is not going to be pretty. And that's kind of how he gets Jason to cooperate too. He says, Britt, I can just throw her in Steinmauer just to make sure, if you tell Carly, then this will happen. Jack shut Britt down. He sure did. But here's the thing. In this week's promo, Jason tells Carly the truth. So, hasn't happened yet on the show, but clearly this week it's going to. So I wonder, what convinces Jason to tell Carly the truth and risk Britt going to Steinmauer? Does something colossal happen? Does, Jason figure out the Nathan part of things before he goes to Carly to tell her what happened? Who are you calling a selfish bitch, Kaiwan? Exactly? Is it Carly he's telling? I mean, that's what the promo makes it look like. Carly looks shocked, but they could have used the footage from Carly watching Nina get arrested. More on that in a minute too. He's had enough of Britt's attitude. But is that enough to really throw her into Steinmauer, though? I don't something bigger has to happen than that, because Jason has to deal with everyone's attitudes all the time. I don't think that, that's going to shake him enough to want to risk Britt going to jail. Unless he thinks Jack is bluffing. Because maybe he feels like Jack needs Britt. But, I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out this week. Alright. Yes, he tells Carly. Calling that because she's calling... You're still not saying who you're referring to, Kaiwan. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to talk about... I don't think Jack is bluffing. Who knows? Maybe... who knows? I'm just spitting out possibilities, He tells Carly this week for some reason. I don't know. Alright, but yeah, let's move on. Let's quickly talk about Monica's sister, Veronica, and the will. So, Monica, I feel... she didn't leave much of anything to anyone, and it was just little trinkets and stuff. Olivia, you get these cutlery things, and Michael, you get this jewelry that belonged to Alan, and the yacht, and of course Michael gets the bigger things that young people would like. Just little things. And then, of course, the only thing that really anyone, including, I think, the audience, really cared about was who was getting the house. But it was pretty predictable in the sense that I figured that Veronica was going to get the house. I'm still not used to calling her Ronnie, but Ronnie. Ronnie got the house. Tracy doesn't buy it. Tracy thinks the will was forged. To that end, Edmund, what you just said in the chat, I don't think that Ronnie is in on a con. I do, however, think that Martin discovered that Monica was writing to her sister Veronica and vice versa, and somehow got a hold of the will and erased Tracy's name. Oh, by the way, I think that Tracy was going to get the house. I know that everyone of the Qs think that the house was going to be given to Michael. I think that she was going to give Tracy the house. I think that she figured the best way to look after Tracy was to give her the house that she was constantly always getting kicked out of. And the reason why I think that is when it came to the will, the wording of it. Monica said, I am giving the house to the sister of my heart. That's clearly Tracy. Tracy even thought it was herself. And, Veronica isn't like Monica's sister from the heart. She's her sister. So, like, truthfully, because we know Martin is gunning for Tracy every chance he gets, I think he somehow got a hold of the will, erased Tracy's name, and forged Veronica's name. Because what does seem to be true is that Monica and Veronica were in fact in touch. We know that she was getting, initially we knew that Monica was getting a letter from someone. And then, we got confirmation from Ronnie that she and Monica had been writing back and forth. And Brooklyn did find the letters that Veronica sent to Monica. So that part is true. So I really don't think that Ronnie is in on this. To me, everything she wants to know, I think she seems genuine. Lulu couldn't find anything on her when Tracy got her to look into it. Not that that's, proof in itself very much, but I just don't see Ronnie being in on it. Like, her reaction to everything that's kind of going on leading up to this seems genuine. We see her get a phone call that was clearly the phone call saying that she's been invited to hear the will. And that seemed last second. So I truly don't think that Veronica is in on it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. She just seems to just genuinely want to live her life, but she came to town because she wanted to pay her respects to Monica, which, and the funeral was private, but supposedly the area where the crypt was opened for the guests, and the door was cracked open, so she went in. So that much seemed to be true. And I think that she genuinely wants to learn the woman that Monica is. I think she was really trying with Tracy, but Tracy is Tracy. So I don't know. I don't see Ronnie being in on it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think this is all Martin. I don't think, and Veronica kind of gets thrown under the bus. And, to that end, Veronica really tried to prove herself this week because the PCPD got a warrant to search the Q's house, and Veronica made sure that they were stalled from searching the house. And, she wasn't urging to do that, and I don't think that she would, risk getting, arrested for something that wasn't true. But, the warrant that they had the wrong address. And I guess the only thing I have to wonder in regards to the warrant being wrong is if ADA Turner did that deliberately. Because, she says pretty loudly when she gets word of the warrant sort of being ready to be issued. She gives the wrong address, but she says it loud enough so that Sonny could hear it. So, I don't know. Also, Sonny kind of low-key blackmails ADA Turner this week because, he believes that she's really gunning for Michael, and he's going to dangle the fact that she had some very important information on Drew as initiative to sort of take herself out of the equation. But, this week, with the warrants and all the proof that's kind of come out, Michael's not one of the people that gets arrested this week. The two people that get arrested is Nina and Willow. And here's my thought process, and really what happened in the last week. Last week, Anna discovered there was footage of Nina going into her house around the time that she claimed to be out for a walk with Willow. Or she, I don't know. Something that essentially proves that Nina couldn't have been with Willow. So, so most likely Nina left the house. And we know that she was having a drink with Portia at the Brown Dog. So I guess the only strange thing is like that doesn't really prove that Nina was in on Drew's murder attempt, but like it does. I guess. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she's getting arrested because they believe that she's helping Willow cover up the murder. Um, and in terms of Willow, how this kind of led up to it is when they had a warrant to search Elizabeth's place where Willow is staying. They discover the gun in her house. Now that leads to sort of the main topic of today's live stream, in the sense that do we think that Michael framed Willow? Because this, or sort of last week at the end of it, we see Michael go into Elizabeth's house, and he's alone for a bit, and he's looking sinister a little bit. And there's time to plant a gun if he had that there. And when Willow got arrested in today's episode, it's like Michael knew that was happening. Michael was also very confident when Sonny was worried about him getting arrested. So I don't know. Kaiwan, I think like my theory is I don't know which way I'm leaning towards. I don't think Michael tried to kill Drew either, for the record. I guess the theory that I'm leaning towards mostly is that Michael, yeah, he was there. I think he might have saw who actually did it. And I think it's possible that he saw Willow do it. Or he's just framing Willow so that he can get full custody of the kids without having to worry about her. Michael's acting really shady. Yeah, but so was everybody else. That's the thing that always annoys me about these whodunit storylines. I get the most annoying thing about this whodunit storyline is that Drew's still alive, but like beyond that, like they always, when they write these stories, they always make every suspect capable or act weird to make them all look guilty. And some of it is just like annoying ways, because it's like, well, Michael's the obvious suspect in terms of like the grand scheme of things, in terms of who Port Charles would believe would try to kill Drew. But I just don't think that he's the one that did it. I don't know. I also think that he would just tell Sonny that he did it, if he did it. But he's hiding something. He knows something. Yeah, why is Drew still alive? Good question. And when you said, I think Michael planted the gun, but he wasn't the shooter, maybe it was Scout. I cracked that joke at the time. I was like, maybe Scout finally just had enough of her father. But we saw the Shadow. The Shadow was definitely an adult human being that did it. And so unless Scout cut her hair short, because we've seen the silhouette as well, and the silhouette really looked like Willow. It really did look like Willow. I don't think you can even deny that. And like the only other people with short hair bobs is like Stella, but I don't think she's capable of murder. And to that end, they even showed the flashback of the person killing Drew again today, or trying to kill Drew again. Why doesn't he just tell Sonny the truth? I think he's protecting who did it. Truthfully, in a perfect world, I would want Monica to be the one that would have tried to do it. You know, she got like a second win before she croaked, and just got the nerve to just try to kill Drew before he did something bad to the rest of the Q family. But yeah, but that's what I mean when Allison, when I say that like everyone's acting like they like too sinister, and that it could be anyone. I like, to me, the only ones that have all been sort of suspects to an extent that I don't believe did it was Portia and Curtis. Nina, I don't know. And the reason why I don't think it's Portia is because she said straight up, like, I had him in the surgical room. If I wanted to kill him, and I wish he were dead, I would have done it there, but I have an oath. I'm not gonna do it there. Monica as the shooter would be genius. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Give Monica one last hurrah. But yeah, it's. I just don't think she would do it. Um, and like Portia and Nina, they sort of left the brown dog together. Um, so like they would both be there, and for all that we've seen, only one person was in the house aside from obviously Kai and Trina. But yeah, um, and Michael he would just be too obvious of a suspect to do it. Willow, even Willow, like she's not acting like she's got anything to hide, but they weren't writing a clear mental breakdown for nothing either. Like I as much as I hate the split personality route, I think it could be that. It's almost like they kind of hinted at it when she did that sinister smile when talking about Michael, or sorry, when talking about Sasha leaving town with the baby. Like Willow's reaction was just like like scary. Um, and the Reeves apple tree is full of psychotic people that have tried to commit murder, if not committed murder. So like, it's certainly in the realm of possibility that Willow tried to kill Drew and blocked it out. We know that she ran out of the hospital when she learned that the judge was killed, and that she just snapped up to cry and leave work and go for a walk in the pouring rain. Um, and yeah, and Carly, like Carly, Carly is not dumb enough to do it. By the way, um, especially because she knows that Elizabeth Herder threatened to kill Drew. So if she was going to kill Drew, like she wouldn't do it right after threatening to kill Drew in front of a witness. And she even went to the PCPD and admitted that she threatened to kill Drew. Like she willingly opened to that. And the only arguable question is, Jack covering for Carly. By the way, I also think that Carly's going to get arrested though, because Dante. Okay, Sonny and Dante today were talking about possibly Michael getting arrested for Drew's murder. And Dante admits there's a few warrants or a few arrests being made today. Warrants for arrests being made today. And a few is more than two. So I think that Chase is, we see Chase arrest Nina, but I think he might arrest Carly too. I don't know. Essentially, I think they're arresting people that had access to the Q house. Carly admitted to Anna last week that she's allowed to see the Qs or Michael at the Qs whenever she wants, which means she has access to the house. Willow obviously knows the grounds. She has access to the gun as well, and they found the gun in her place, whether Michael planted it or not. And Nina, she was clearly covering for Willow, which would sort of hinder a potential investigation. Allison, and yeah, you're correct. If Carly would have done it, she would have made sure he was dead and that no one would find the body. So, like, that's why Carly didn't do it. Sonny's not even a suspect. And, Sonny didn't do it because he's worried that Michael's going to get arrested for it. So, I don't know. To me, out of everyone that is a suspect, Willow seems like the most guilty party. Whether Michael planted the gun or not. Because, like, the theory is if Michael planted the gun, he had to have known which gun it was, and maybe if he saw Willow do it, recognized the gun that she used. Edmund, you said Dante told Anna about my. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, so Dante did share with Anna last week as well. Um, how Michael thinks that Willow was sabotaging Sasha with Daisy. So if she was doing that and being sinister in that way, then you know. But yeah, I don't know. It's possible that Michael framed Willow, even if he saw her do it, or just made sure that she would get caught. But I truly think that the likely outcome is that Willow did it and blocked it from her memory, because she is unwell right now. Um, and I think that if Michael framed her, he did so just to, so that there wouldn't be a chance for Willow to even get even half the custody of the kids, shared custody, because Willow's unwell, and clearly she is unwell because she's still willing to go and move in with Drew again. She hasn't learned a damn thing. Every bit of advice Drew has ever given her has screwed her over, and she's still listening to him and saying, yes, I'll move back in with you, over like some flimsy excuse that Drew gave. She is not of sound mind to make decisions when it comes to her kids. But yeah. Although I do think it's kind of a low blow. Like, if Michael did in fact do that, that means he deliberately gave Willow one last chance to see the kids, knowing that she'd get arrested. Kaiwan, they're both bad. Willow is a bad person. I don't like you. You root for the villains for whatever reason. Like, on the show, you love Nell, you love Nina, you love Willow, so you can't be objective to the storyline. Just sorry to say it, but you are always in every single chat, on every live stream of other people and mine. You are always the only one with that opinion. Maybe that should tell you kind of where you're going wrong here. Willow is a shitty person. Michael is a shitty person who's been, screwed over by Willow multiple times. And, she kind of deserves it, because she's showing time and time again that she is not capable of making good decisions for the kids. I mean, look who his parents are. He was raised by Sonny. Yeah, look who Willow's parents are. Look who Willow's family is. She got a psychopath for a twin sister who literally killed multiple people, went crazy, tried to go after revenge on Carly. Who's Dylan? Or crazy woman villain, I think you meant. But I'm just saying, Kaiwan, like, you can't be objective here. Michael, yeah, he has his flaws, but he's a good parent. Like, he is looking out for his kids because Willow is not mentally stable. She literally scared the shit out of Wiley. Like, showing up in a wedding dress with tears and mascara running down her face, screaming for him. She's not a good parent. And she was listening to everything Drew was saying, which, and like, convincing her to break the law just to try and get the kids to be closer to him. And it's like, and I stand by the fact that, like, Willow's, that Michael essentially, is in the right to go for full custody of the kids, because she's proven, and everything that the judge said, despite being paid off by what's his face, was correct. She broke rule after rule and showed time and time again that she's not fit to be a mom. I truly think that even if the judge wasn't paid off, that any normal judge would have come to the same conclusion And I think even she would have come to the same conclusion without the payout. And she just took, a good payoff thinking, well, I was going to make this decision anyway. I might as well get a cool couple million for it. But yeah, and Willow, again, is in a family full of unstable women who kill people. So she probably tried to kill Drew too. But I guess there's also a part of me that hopes that the killer is nobody that we've seen or suspect yet. Which is why I think it would have been cool to make it Monica. I don't think that's where they're going, but there's just, it's too easy. The silhouette looks like Willow. She's unstable. She was clearly cringing at Drew, trying to kiss her back closer to the time that he was being sought after. Again, Kaiwan, your opinion is not objective, so I don't think there's a single person that disagrees or that does agree with you. And nobody cares about Susan Moore. Certainly not GH. So you need to let go of any theory involving her as well. The gun belonged to Edward, not Susan Moore. Austin, you said it would be more interesting if it was someone who isn't a suspect. I agree. But I think it would also be a good story to have Willow be the one that did it but blacked it out. And her sort of going to therapy and getting well again so that she doesn't make poor decisions on her kids so that she can one day get custody of her kids rightfully again. But yeah, I like, I don't know. It's such a slippery slope. Also, Brad really has no incentive to kill Drew. And Brad's hair is not as long as the bob on the silhouette's head. Maybe it was Danny. I don't know. I feel like we would have seen him shaken up, but I don't know. Yeah, Danny. Well, Danny has a bit of motive. Danny has a bit of motive. He's preventing him and all of Scout's family from seeing Scout. But I don't think that he's capable of murder. I think my mom's theory is that it's Stella. I don't think Stella is capable of murder either. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Sidwell paid someone to do it. That's also a possibility. I mean, he got the judge killed. We do know that. But would he have time to kill both the judge and try to shoot Drew? Would that really be happening at the same time? I know that he says that Drew's kind of becoming a liability. I just don't think... I don't know. I just don't think that he would just do both things at the same time. I don't know. Just my 2 cents on that. I would hope it wouldn't be a kid. Too disturbing. Yeah, I mean, Michael was pretty much like a kid, but maybe like a couple years older than Danny when he killed Claudia. But that wasn't really deliberate. I think he just meant to knock Claudia out because he was about to take her sister, but didn't suspect to kill her. But I don't know. Either way, that was in self-defense. Or in defense of his sister. So Drew's whole sort of spiel to be like, Michael has a pattern of violence. No, he doesn't. Like, Michael, like, only killed Claudia. And really, even in that storyline back then, it was clear that the judge really had Michael sentenced to Pentonville to kind of use him as sort of, what was it, collateral damage? Or like a lesson for Sonny and Carly to not cover up this murder. That, you know, that much was obvious. Like, there's consequences for you trying to take the law into your own hands. And that's what ended up putting Michael in jail, more so than the fact that he killed Claudia. Or at the very least, he probably would have gotten like a light sentence, given that she had kidnapped his mom, you know, put her in a cabin, and then took the kid basically from Carly's womb and was going to run and kidnap his sister. So that, you know, murder was special with like a different kind of circumstance. That goes a long way, but it's, well, no, because, you know, the evidence shows that Michael killed Claudia because of the fact that she was trying to kidnap, you know, his sister. So there's the reasons for it go long enough that it wasn't like, you know, that it wouldn't actually matter in this case. The other problem is that Drew has admitted to multiple people that he would rather frame Michael for murder than put the people in jail who actually killed him. And, you know, he essentially admitted that to Jordan. He's admitted that to, I think, well, he's definitely admitted it to Martin. And we know that Martin is willing to risk his pay to do the right thing. And I think if it comes down to it, if he sees that Drew is using his power and influence to frame someone for his murder attempt, I think that Martin might be a man enough to break the attorney-client privilege for breaking the law. Yeah, he was using Michael to get back at Sonny and Carly. Yeah, exactly. The judge was dirty back then. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. In summary, just because we're going to end the stream soon, just to sort of run by the theories that we've kind of discussed, I think that Martin acted alone in changing Monica's will. I don't think that Ronnie is in on it. I'm not convinced one way or the other if Michael planted the evidence, or that the show's just trying to make it look like he did, just to keep the mystery rolling on who actually killed Drew. You know, that's kind of the in the air thing for me. But I don't know. It's more believable to me that Willow killed Drew than Michael. Because I think Michael also learned from what happened at the Metrocourt when he punched Drew that Drew is deliberately trying to push his buttons, and I think that he's smart enough to show restraint. So, like, I don't know. I don't think that he did it. You still think that Michael's a bad guy because now they're writing him that more emotionally abusive? I don't know. Like, they're trying to paint him that way, but I don't know. To me, it's not out of the show's wheelhouse to just make something appear that way, just to point suspicion towards Michael. But in the end, I don't think he did that. I don't know. The only thing that makes me question anything at all is that Michael seems to know that that Anna and was it Dante that was with her? Anna or Chase? No, who was it? I don't know. Anna was there to not arrest him, but rather to arrest Willow. He seemed to know that because he took the kids right on his lap, as if like I know I'm not going anywhere, so this must be for Willow. But two things could be true. Michael could have planted the evidence, or he could have went to see if the evidence was there in the first place. Possible. Edmund, you said, I like the actor playing Michael more than Chad. Yeah, I do too, but I feel like I've made that known from the jump. Anyway, though, I'm going to end the live stream. This week is going to be a crazy one for me, so there's not going to be a midweek live stream this week either. I can't even say what I'm doing. I'll have things to tell you on Sunday. About unrelated things to GH. More so about me in the music realm. And that's all I can say because I don't know who's watching. But things are happening this week that are certainly new territories for me. But kind of exciting in their own way. And that's all you get to know. And I'll tell you about it on Sunday. But yeah, thanks so much for watching the live stream with me, everyone. If you liked this live stream, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I do videos every Sunday, sometimes on Monday if there's a long weekend. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Mwah! Good night.